Welcome to the San Alejo Joint Powers Authority Contractor Safety Program. This video will provide you the information necessary to comply with our site security, site safety, and environmental compliance requirements. This video applies to all contractors and employees working on our property. The San Alejo Joint Powers Authority has a zero-tolerance policy for safety violations. Contractor employees may be asked to leave the job site if any of these safety violations are observed. The San Alejo Safety Brochure provides all of this information and more. In the event of emergency evacuation, be advised of the following. The emergency evacuation assembly area is either in front of the operations building near the flagpole or at the designated contractor evacuation area, both of which are shown on this map. Listen for alarm or PA announcements, and be advised that entering and exiting the facility may be restricted to emergency responders. Assist San Alejo safety personnel in accounting for your employees as well as your subcontractors. Please remain at the assembly area until given the all clear and release notice. The San Alejo Joint Powers Authority has hazardous materials on site. Safety data sheets are found in the operations control room. Chemicals such as ferric chloride, polymers, sodium hydroxide, sodium hyperchlorite, degreasers, oils, paints, laboratory chemicals must be handled with caution. Always consult the safety data sheets or ask your point of contact if you have any questions about chemicals on site here at San Alejo. Here are some general safety rules. Contractors are prohibited from operating any electrical panels, PLC cabinets, or other electronic instruments without prior approval from their contract point of contact. Locks and tags must be placed on equipment while working on equipment that may be inadvertently started by other personnel. Please remember, San Alejo has a lot of equipment that automatically starts and stops. There will be no use of San Alejo machinery or equipment without prior approval. Park only in designated parking spots and do not block fire lanes. No entry into confined spaces is allowed except by trained personnel which have received prior approval by the contractor and San Alejo. Hot work permits are required prior to welding, grinding, burning, or other types of hot work. Notification is required to San Alejo prior to start of any hot work. Oxygen, acetylene, and other combustible fuel bottles must be stored and transported in compliance with OSHA standards. Housekeeping. Good housekeeping standards are required of the contractor. Areas must be maintained and organized while working on site, and cleanup is required at the end of each work shift. Cell phone rules for California roadways apply on JPA property. Note that there are trucks, carts, forklifts, and pedestrians on SEJPA roadways. Please use caution while driving and working on this job site. Personal hygiene. To prevent illness that may be caused by contaminated surfaces with pathogens, which are disease-causing microorganisms, please adhere to the following. Frequent and thorough washing of hands and other exposed body parts, particularly before eating, smoking, or drinking, is recommended. Please avoid rubbing your eyes, nose, or mouth. Cuts, scratches, and abrasions should be covered to prevent infection, and equipment and tools should be cleaned to prevent and minimize contamination. Personal protective equipment is an important part of our safety program. Contractors must supply their own PPEs. Hard hats must meet ANSI standards. Safety glasses require rigid side shields. Footwear must be appropriate for the job. Gloves and other high-visible outerwear may be required. Hearing protection is required as necessary. Additional PPE requirements may be warranted, contingent upon the scope of work. Fall protection harnesses and lanyards are required as necessary per project. For your safety, smoking and eating is restricted at this job site. Each project will have its own designated smoking and eating area, and this information will be provided to you by your project point of contact. At this job site, fall protection is required whenever there is a drop of more than 4 feet to the ground or the next level for general maintenance and 6 feet for construction activities. Fall protection systems include guardrails, handrails, and stair rails. The use of body belts connected to lanyard systems as personal fall protection is prohibited. Personal fall arrest is required when working on or moving an aerial or scissor lift. Spill prevention and response. Appropriate precautions must be taken to protect the environment from any spills or releases of hazardous materials on our property. Oil or chemicals that are spilled require immediate action to first stop the release and then prevent the spill from spreading to other areas. Notification is required to your foreman as well as to the San Alejo point of contact. Hazardous communication. All solvents, chemicals, and hazardous materials that are brought on site must have a safety data sheet readily available. Any containers used to handle chemicals, fluids, or other hazardous materials must be labeled. Hazardous materials transferred from their original container must be placed in a properly labeled secondary container. Safe handling and storage is the responsibility of the contractor. Appropriate flammable storage containers must be used. Any chemical, fluid, or hazardous materials brought onto our property must be properly disposed of after they're used. Properly dispose of batteries, aerosol cans, trash, and other light bulbs is a requirement of the contractor. Barricades and barricades tape and tags. Barrier tape is used as a warning to limit or deter access to the work area that may be unsafe. Barricade identification tags shall be used at each point of entry, identifying the specific hazard and appropriate contact personnel. Use specific barricade tape appropriate for the job. Security at the San Alejo Joint Powers Authority. All contractors must check in and out each day at the San Alejo Administration trailer, and only employees who have been through the San Alejo Safety Program are allowed to work at the job site.